I'm sure Disney will happily let you talk about this. Has there been any discussion? We're in the multiverse. There are a million versions of every character. Agent Venom.
Agent Venom.
Flash Thompson is Agent Venom.
I have heard this character exists.
Okay.
I have read the comics in which he exists. And please, for anyone who's paying attention right now, I did fuck this up.
Welcome to Building Friendships. I am your unqualified host, John Sosis, and today, one of my favorite actors. You've seen him in some of the biggest franchises. You've seen him in Spider-Man No Way Home. You've seen him in Scream 6. And now, right now, you can go to Disney Plus and see him play Dev Greebling in Star Wars Rebuild the Universe, Rebuild the Galaxy. Why did I say Universe? It's Monday. We're going to get through this.
Yes, we are.
Mr. Tony Revolori.
Hi, everyone.
What's
How
up,
you
bud?
guys doing?
Thanks for doing this. Okay, we have to talk about this.
I know, I'm obsessive right now.
We just started recording, but he's already through. These are the first two bags. The rest are in the box. So when you get through these, you can go in there and get the next bag. But I need to know how you're organizing it, because I see they're not by color. There's color scattered everywhere.
No, there's color scattered everywhere. It's mostly by pieces that are going to be the same pieces. So obviously these three are
Got it. So you're doing it by piece.
But then I'll get confused because sometimes these will perfectly align, and I think that's just one big piece. So I need to have them separate, which is why I like putting colors in between them.
That makes sense. Are you a Lego fan? Do you typically build? I saw
do.
you. Oh, okay, great.
I do. Yeah.
I saw you building the Dark Falcon, which I was like,
Yes.
this is an amazing set. I'm glad that he's in it. That's where your minifigure is.
Yes. Yeah.
But-
So I've been building that one. I'll probably build the other three that are in the box set of it. And then I have a friend of mine who's a much bigger Lego guy than me, Mike Makowski, who's an incredible writer. And he's really, he has a whole setup in his house. At his wedding recently, he had everyone build minifigs of what they were dressed like, and they had a whole box of it.
That is awesome.
And then he put them on the wall. It was
That is
awesome.
great. What was your first Lego set that you can remember?
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it feels like maybe I'm wrong, but Jurassic Park or something
That makes
dinosaur.
sense. Yeah. Those were the coolest.
Yeah.
Big giant dinosaurs in it.
Completely.
So which sets are we doing? I mean, this is pretty.
So I'm going to be doing the original Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, you are. And this is one of the cooler ones they just released. It comes with a display stand, so it can actually sit up there.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you get the whole stand. And
Oh, wow,
it's
that's
a
so
mini.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the big one I have, and you know what? You're from LA. I mean, you're from California.
Yes.
The earthquakes are not great for Lego.
No, they're not.
It's sitting on the top shelf of my bookcase. Every time the
Oh.
ground shakes, my heart just starts racing.
Do you not glue it? Like, so
Do
no
you
one.
glue it?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, I don't.
They were gonna kick you off the Lego.
Oh God, no!
Yeah.
I'm just I'm curious if that's a thing, and I only know this
should
because
have.
of the Lego movie.
Yeah, I should
Right?
have with the big Millennium Falcon. I have no interest. When I had to ship it from New York to LA, I was like, this is going to be a disaster, and it was. But I should glue the bigger ones where I may have to move them, or an earthquake might say, hey, we're taking
Might
this
take
out.
them over, yeah. Or at least glue them to a stand or something like
Yeah.
that, so that way
The
you don't have to
stand-
deal with
The stand
it.
as I was carrying it up there broke, and now it's literally one shake away from just being on my floor. I won't be able to walk on my floor. I will be doing.
Precarious.
I mean, the Green Goblin. This is one of my favorite sets that just came out that I haven't been able to build yet, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity.
Perfect
So here we go. Let's get started. I mean, you're
I know.
ready to go.
I'm
You're
getting
gonna-
started.
This is also the first time where my guest has so many more pieces than me.
I
took
really?
a small one just because I
Yeah.
really wanted to
How
do
many
this.
is this?
You're at almost 1,000. You're at over 900.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well,
Well, you have the other one to finish, so you have some time.
the Dark Millennium Falcon. I'm still not there, and I'm where am I? I'm on bag 15, 16 maybe.
How many are in there? That's what.
1,500 pieces.
Oh wow.
I think
Okay.
so, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see how quick I can make this.
I mean, this is a lot. Aside from like the base pieces, I think it's a lot of small pieces once you get to the top part there.
To the top little part there.
Yeah.
To be honest, the thing that trips me up more than anything are the color changes in between them. That's what I'm like, wait, is this the right color? I can't tell. But, here's hoping.
So you're from Anaheim, right?
Yes, I am.
At what age were you like acting? That's where I'm going.
2 years old, I started acting. My dad put me in it when I was very, very young. But, it was around 12-ish when I went, oh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Really? What was it that hit you at 12?
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just, my dad asking what I wanted to do, or, whatever it might have been. But regardless, I just knew this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I didn't want to. Well, that's not true. I wanted to do other things as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we all have dreams of doing crazy things. But I think the really cool thing was that I knew I wanted to pursue this with a passion.
I look at things that now having been out of college, 2008, 16 years, I'm like,
sure.
It's crazy to have someone pick a major when they're 19 years old.
Right.
It is crazy. So the fact that you can know what you want to do and want to do it with a passion is just like awesome, especially at a young age. But
thank you, yeah.
For a college to be like, okay, now you have to pick the thing you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You're not 20 yet, you can't drink, which I think some of those decisions come when you're drinking, but it's like...
Agreed.
Yeah, it's like...
Maybe a bad decision sometimes, but regardless, hey.
Yeah.
A decision nonetheless.
I've never been drunk, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, because I saw
Wow.
I saw some of those bad decisions up front, and I'm like,
fair.
I don't need to make bad. I can make bad decisions without the alcohol. That's where I'm at.
Well, yeah, of course. Listen, you just went and started building Legos.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is what keeps me out of trouble.
Which I love, and I think I fucked this up.
I mean, listen, you're on page 2.
Oh wait, no, I didn't.
There you go.
I'm still good. I just need to look at this.
The fun part's on building it and just doing it correctly later.
Exactly. But where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and then actually I just had my 3-year anniversary in LA. So I'm here for 3 years.
Happy anniversary to being here.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I moved out here to run production at the Comedy Store for a few years, and now...
Lovely.
Have you lived anywhere else, or has it always been...
Well, I work for projects somewhere else or whatever it is, so I feel like I've gotten the opportunity to live in other places, but I, for the most part, home base has always been Los Angeles for me.
That's how I felt about New York, and it's like, for the right opportunity, I'll take the jump, but it's hard for me. It's hard to adjust when you're 35 and you're first leaving the place you've been for your whole life.
Right.
It's a weird adjustment.
Right. I mean, well, that's the thing is it's not only just an adjustment, it's a completely lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And I understand why people can be hesitant to go into it.
Yeah, definitely. I was never a night owl, and then obviously if I'm working at a comedy club, there's not much of a choice but to be there at night.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
So that was kind of
to be a night owl. You're gonna kind of have to do it.
Yeah. So you've obviously had a ton of success already. Are you someone that can accept and appreciate it, or are you still like, I haven't done anything? Like, I'm super hard on myself. I haven't done anything. I still haven't accomplished anything.
It's one of those things where you still kind of have a realization of like, wow, this is my life. How interesting is that when you're going and say, for Spider-Man 3, I get to see Toby and Andrew do their whole thing, and that was cool. And you're like, there's always going to be moments of that kind of stuff, especially when you're doing projects that fill and make you appreciate your inner child.
Yeah.
Which I think,
because we grew up on those
Spider-Man
movies.
or this Lego Star Wars thing, what's really fun about it is, without spoiling too much, but getting to act in a certain way that you did as a kid.
Yeah.
As you had that imagination, and you get to live it out now, even if it's just with your voice, but in the vocal room. I remember certainly, I'm sure they have videos of it, of me like, pretending to hold a lightsaber or making the noises, because of course everyone does, and we did as kids. So, there's still a little bit of that, but then there's also like, this is my job. I am a professional at the end of the day. Let me do my, job correctly, lest I get fired or I don't do a good job.
No, that makes sense, and I think it's kind of cool, and I want to talk about that in a little bit, like just
Please.
the idea of transferring from acting and being physically on camera to now doing the voice thing.
Right.
But when you were first starting acting and you finally get these bigger roles that are growing and growing, what was the best advice you've gotten, and what was the worst?
Oh, okay. There were these great comedian brothers called the Smother Brothers.
Yes.
Back in the day, and I got to meet one of them, which was so lovely. And it was a lovely time, and he gave me the best advice, and he said, treat everyone with respect, and treat everyone like they're the most important person in the world, because yesterday they were, today they are, or tomorrow they will be. And I thought that was beautiful.
That's true.
And then the worst advice I've ever been given, oh God.
Is that an oh God because you've been given so much bad advice, or an oh God because it's just hard to think of something?
Because I probably, it goes in one ear and out the other.
I mean, it's a hard one.
It's a hard one because you kind of don't really pay attention to the bad advice. You at least hopefully don't pay attention to the bad advice. But
that's usually the harder question to answer. Most people have been like, some people told me to quit and get a real job, and like the advice that's mostly deterring. Yeah, there's. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
There's like,
no, I never had any of that. Thankfully, I had a lot of support growing up from my family. Whatever, or maybe take a job I shouldn't have taken. That seems like a bad piece of advice. And then either I did take it, and then it ended up being bad, or or it's good. But hey, that's trial and error. No one can succeed constantly. I feel like, especially in our industry now, no one's kind of given the ability to fail. Back in the day, you'd make a stinker project, and it'd end up at the back of Blockbuster, and no one would care because no one would see it. But you'd cut your teeth, you'd learn your 10,000 hours, and that's kind of where you learn to kind of become a better actor. But now everyone's expecting a ready-made actor from the get, which is difficult and very rare.
Do you, not to get you in trouble with the streamers, but do you think that's an issue with what's going on with streaming now, where you can work on amazing product, but it could get on an amazing project, but it could get just buried so deep?
Well, yeah, I think also, back in the day we had way more, right? Like everyone had to go see Shawshank Redemption because that was the only movie in theaters for another month. That was new. While nowadays there's just so much opportunity for new stuff and niche stuff, and I don't think that's necessarily the streamers. I think the streamers can afford to be a little bit less negative when a project fails and going, well, this actor didn't succeed. So that can be that, but I think it's also one of those things where it's the audience members who got to give actors a little bit more leeway, I think, to learn and grow and kind of try something new, and God damn it, I can't find a piece.
Which one?
I'm trying to find this little orange piece, but I can't tell if these are the orange pieces. Because am I wrong? Is this crazy?
That's the piece, yeah.
That is the piece?
Gold,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my biggest issue with some of the Lego instructions. The colors, I can't tell the difference between the grays. And I'm not colorblind, but like some of the light grays and dark grays, they're different in each book.
Thank you. I'm glad
it's not you.
The only one.
This time it was not you. But I've had people search for pieces that were right in front of me.
You can cut back to the interview and you can just see me looking and just organizing because I was like, I don't know what to do now.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's a difficult thing where I want to give actors a little bit more of a leeway to fail on camera, because certainly.
But when you say fail, what do you mean fail? Because I've rarely seen a good actor not be good in whatever there is. For me, it's more about the project and the actor. Like the actor can only do so much with the material they're given.
Sure, but that's my point is not judge the fact that they were in a movie that maybe didn't give them the credit, right? Like people, And
Got
everyone
it.
talks about this, but like you look at someone like Robert Pattinson, people roasted him and Kristen Stewart and the cast of Twilight for being bad actors or whatever it was. And then lo and behold, he's Batman and he's doing great projects, good times. Then you look at someone who's a great example of it because he's remembered so fondly, but back in the day, Robin Williams was seen as, maybe not to the newer generation, but there was times when he was like, oh, the guy from Mork and Mindy? What are you talking about?
Jim Carrey also. And then you see the
exactly.
Man on the Moon. It's like, yeah, that's Jim Carrey.
Or Truman Show.
Yes.
And then you see Dead Poet Society or Good Will Hunting or even Good Morning Vietnam. And now everyone's like, whoa, you can act. We can always act.
Yeah. It's not the acting that's the problem.
It's the material given a lot of times.
Yeah.
So,
What's your favorite film?
Oh,
I mean, God. I hate that question because it's impossible. Are there films that pop to your head when you're having that discussion? Are there films that just immediately come to your head?
To having those discussions, I will say, like, Good Will Hunting, something like Matthew McConaughey, Mud, incredible. And then, if we're talking just general favorite movies, City Lights, the silent film, Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, okay.
Just a big favorite of mine.
It's a deep cut.
Deep cut. A movie that I personally love, but people and critics didn't like, but don't really care, because I absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, is Secret Life of Walter Mitty, directed by Ben Stiller.
That is another deep
See, we
cut.
got a behind the camera,
Yeah.
I just want that to be heard.
There are so many movies that just don't get spoken about the way that they should.
No.
But that's a movie that I think if more people saw it, it would become a cult
Completely.
classic.
I think he captures Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Both directing and starring in it, but he captures wanderlust of kind of like a young generation in the way we feel almost a little bit lost in a new society and not knowing where our place in the world is. So well, in a way, without speaking about it, just being lost and wanting to kind of explore and travel and figure it out, and have the opportunity to do all those things. And I really love that movie. And again, while critics do their jobs, and I'm not gonna hate on them because they're there for a reason. Personally, I watch a movie because I want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And I leave it at that.
I mean, one of the weirdest things is not obviously you're more into it. You're more inside than me. Is once you've done your job as an actor, you know the script is good. You know the acting is good. You know the scenes that you're in are good. Is it crazy to you when you see a trailer that you're like, this did not reflect the movie properly and this is going to hurt us?
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, like, and you can't blame anyone other than or just anyone in general, right?
Yeah.
The people who cut the trailer, for the most part, are a different entity. So it's like they're getting mandates from a studio or for a buyer or whatever it might be. And it's a little disheartening, but hopefully you will have seen the movie and the movie will speak on itself outside of the trailer. You hope.
Yeah. I mean, going back, even it's the little things that are funny to me. Like taking this back to Lego.
Please.
I always get surprised because Marvel's obviously super secretive, when they release an Avengers set for a movie that the Lego team clearly was just given very general instruction and they weren't told anything about the movie.
Right.
And then the internet goes wild, like, this better not be in the movie, because they have nothing to work with. So like, hey, this would be something people will buy. For like, I think Avengers Endgame, they put a Hulk Buster, but it was the War Machine Hulk Buster.
Oh, interesting.
And everybody went nuts, like, are they putting a War Machine Hulk Buster in the movie? And it's like, guys, just wait for the movie.
Just relax.
Wait for the movie.
It's okay.
But it's interesting how so many things as an actor are out of your control once you've come in and done your job.
Oh, massively. Look, our jobs are what it is, to do what we do, and after that, it's out of our control, truly. There's nothing we can do about it, and you just hope they do you justice as an actor. In the editing process or something like that, And then beyond that, you move on and you hope for the best.
Yeah.
At least, that's the goal. Now, the
Definitely.
brown is this way, so this got to be this way.
I don't want to spend too much time on Spider-Man. Everyone's seen it. It's an amazing movie, and I would say, every scene you're in is fun. Like, it's a solid scene. Like, you're funny in every single scene in that movie.
Thank
It's
you.
not like
Thank
they just
you.
put you on screen to be like, hey, we need Flash Thompson in here. Every scene you're in is funny.
I appreciate that.
Is that something that you look back on and you're like, I could do this forever? Or is it something that can get old being part of like a franchise like that, where it seems like you're very into like some of the classics and not necessarily just superhero movies?
No, look, I think it's a beautiful thing to make movies that make your inner child happy.
Yeah.
I certainly am. I love the fact that I've gotten to be a part of those, and I think when I started doing the Spider-Man movies, my little brother was 6 years old, and he gets to see me on screen with Spider-Man, and I could only dream of something like that when I was a kid, because people of color really weren't put on camera in those kind of positions. So I'm extremely grateful for that fact. I'm extremely grateful that I got to be a part of it. Look, I creatively, I want to diversify and do something like a City Lights or something like, whatever, and then go back to doing whatever and loving the inner child in me to be like, don't worry, we're going to do both. And I think that's the kind of where I want to be right now. Also, at the same time, let's be completely honest here. I'm definitely not going to be young forever. So,
what's interesting is I don't think that's something that's. I think that's changing. Like, I'm seeing Glenn Powell crush it, and I'm like, the age thing is completely like it's slowly disappearing as people call it out more and more. But
Sure.
There does become a point where you can't be the kid in high school anymore.
No. I certainly.
Well, actually, your character's in college now. So here's my last Spider-Man
there you
question.
go.
Are you a comic book fan?
I am a comic book fan.
Okay, so
yes, I am.
I'm sure Disney will happily let you talk about this. Has there been any discussion? We're in the multiverse. There are a million versions of every character. Agent Venom.
Agent Venom.
Flash Thompson is Agent Venom.
I have heard this character exists.
Okay.
I have read the comics in which he exists. And please, for anyone who's paying attention right now, I did fuck this up, but that's okay. Look, I would love to play the character and do justice to Flash and show him, because I know the fans would really, really appreciate it. They would, I think, be happy to see that, and I know people ask me about it all the time, and I would love to, and that's all I'll say.
Okay, all right. That's a good enough answer. Because what I love about this Flash Thompson, I know when the first casting was announced, people were like, well, he's not this big hulking jock. And it was like, but they're correcting the thing that I think they did wrong in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey, was they tried to do this mirror image of Tobey Maguire to be Venom, so it was like two identical looking Spider-Man.
Oh,
that's why
interesting.
Topher Grace was in there. Like, we want a mirror image of Tobey. And I think with your character, they've done it, but they've done it right. They didn't just make him this bad character. It's a likable character.
Well, I appreciate that.
That can just become this, that can just, you don't want to see a good character turn bad.
Yeah.
And you're very likable across 3 movies. So to see you become bad, well, Agent Venom isn't really a villain, but.
No. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about the character, and I think that I'd want to like explore if I ever did get the chance or whatever it is. It would be to kind of just have a little bit of a good time with the character and kind of give him the story he deserves, because he's so, people really, really love his stories. I think he has a wonderful tragic story when you really kind of dive into the comics and stuff like that. And whether it's me or someone else, doesn't matter. I think it could be done beautifully.
Yeah, well, I'll make it happen with Tony. I'm just throwing it out there. Make it happen with Tony.
Well, thank you very much. Here's hoping. Fingers crossed and knock on wood.
I mean, they're doing some wild stuff, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah. Okay. One more movie I want to talk about before we
Please.
get to Star Wars. You were in. Obviously, the original was my favorite. You were in my second favorite opening of a Scream movie.
Really? Number
because-
2.
Yeah.
Drew
you
Barrymore,
were-
I've seen it
yes,
as number
yes,
1.
I mean,
Always,
yeah,
always,
yeah.
always.
You were
I get
number
it.
2 because this was the first time where we are revealed, the killer is revealed, and I thought we were going to go the entire movie knowing who the killer was, which is all I've wanted in a Scream movie. Reveal in the beginning, and then watch this person throughout the whole movie and try to figure out who their partner is. So I was a little
Interesting.
disappointed, but I thought it was awesome.
They almost gave it to you. They almost gave you what you wanted.
I know. It was such a tease. But how was that process? Because obviously you're coming into a franchise. It's a 6th movie, which normally has a bad rap when you're at number 6. But it was a real, I loved it.
No.
5
People,
and 6 have been great.
People love Scream movies, and I am so grateful to be a part of it, truly. It all happened because of, truly, they came and talked to me and asked me if I would be interested. And I said, let me think about it. And I've told this story before, but I go to work out, and one of my very, very good friends who I work out with is also in the Scream movies. His name is Mason Gooding.
Also great in these movies.
Also phenomenal, too phenomenal in these movies. I almost was scared to act alongside him. Yeah, he was like, no, you're doing it. Like I'm grabbing your phone right now and calling your agent and telling them you're doing it. We're gonna have the best time. And I said, no, well, yeah.
Oh, because he didn't know.
Well, I told him that
Okay.
they were they wanted to talk to me about it.
But he didn't know what the scene was. He thought you guys were going to be like maybe all in the friends group together.
Yeah, he didn't know which part yet.
Got it.
And then once I told him, he was like, okay, I know which part. And so, yeah. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I want to go work with, one of my best friends. Let's go. And so I said yes, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but it was honestly incredible. I had the best time working with the 2 directors, Matt and
Yeah, Radio Silence. are
Radio
great.
Silence, all 3 of them, to be honest. Chad, Matt, and Tyler. Whoops, I'm getting ahead of myself with this piece. And I was grateful to work with the cast. They were wonderful. And honestly, what has made me appreciate all of this more is the fans of the movie who kind of come up and go, I love the movie. It was my favorite movie as a kid, blah, blah, blah. And it just makes it, I just feel wonderful about it. It makes me feel awesome. So I love the fact that I did that movie.
And it's such a big deal to be the opening kill.
Yes.
That's
yes.
like just a thing in the Scream movies. They don't ask just anybody to be the opening kill. Like if
Yeah.
you look at Drew, then it was Omar Epps, Jada Pinkett, then you got Liev Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber in 3.
Yeah, so it's no joke to be asked to be the first kill in that movie.
No, and I'm so grateful for it. It's so awesome. People are telling me it's their favorite one, and it makes me happy. And I'm like, well, let's be honest. Drew Barrymore's always number 1 because she's the original.
Always.
But I'm grateful for it. I would love to see a reunion of opening Scream kills.
It's
people.
like those conventions are coming.
I'm sure. But the funny thing is, I'm also technically a ghost face, and that gives me like a little it's like I'm also something different.
It's a big deal.
It's really fun. So to be honest, that was like, I remember the best note I got on that movie was I can't remember which one of the directors, Matt or Tyler, came up to me during a moment, I think, where I'm passing Jenna Ortega's character, and we're having like a little conversation as we walk past each other, or whatever it was. Is that the darker one or the lighter one? That's the darker one. And they go, be sexier, be Ted Bundy. And I just think that's the funniest note, be Ted Bundy.
That is so funny.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to be
That's
Ted
very
Bundy.
specific. I don't need to be cast in the reboot of Ted Bundy's life story.
Right. So that was a funny one, but it was like, yeah, I get it also.
Yeah, well, that was the appeal of the character. That's why I thought your character was making it through, and we were going to be like, we get to watch one of the killers throughout the whole movie. And then,
No, I'm hoping, eventually they do something like that, because I think that would be really cool, just to be like, a little, this is my pitch. And also, my character has a twin brother, because I want to go back and do these things again, because I had such a good time.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm pretty sure I'm dead,
You never
unfortunately.
know. You never know.
True, you never know.
I'm still waiting for Dewey to come back.
Oh, God, yeah. You and me both. Small little ones. But to do like a small little like enclosed room or like a convention
Yeah.
in which, okay, those go in there. Okay. In which, they catch one of the killers, and now it's like, the killer's like, oh, one of you is my accomplice. Try to figure out who. And then they go the whole movie trying to figure out which one of them is the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting change for a movie that's now going to have their 7th film. It's like, change it up a little bit, get people to see it for a different reason, something that they haven't seen before. Do you like writing as well? Are you do you like being on the creative side behind the camera?
I do. I absolutely do and am. And I fucked this up again.
That's going to be the name of this episode.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm sorry
Disney's
for cursing.
Yeah.
Geez, I'm so sorry.
I'll clean it up. So let's get to that. Speaking of conventions, you were just at Comic-Con to promote this new show, which looks so good.
Yes,
Star Wars:
was.
Rebuild the Galaxy. How was Comic-Con? And then tell us a little bit about the show, because it looks so good.
Comic-Con was incredible. I was there with Bobby Moynihan and the Michael Kursak, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Whoops. But another fellow voice actor, and then a couple of other great people. But not least, our wonderful, wonderful writer, showrunners, Dan Hernandez and Ben Samet, who are incredible and truly the lifeblood of why this thing is so good. And they truly are incredible, and have done such a wonderful job at making this project so wonderful. And basically what it is now I got to hone in and not build Legos and talk about this show. So we're following, and it's Lego Star Wars, so we got a little bit of irreverent humor in it, but we got these brother characters, Dev Greebling and Sig Greebling. Sig being the cooler older brother, Dev being someone who worships these stories of Luke and Leia and all these Star Wars universe stories that we absolutely love. Yeah. He's just as much of a fan as we all are. And then one day he pulls this little cornerstone and just rewrites his universe. And so now he's got to rebuild the universe to match what he had before, including finding his brother and where he stood. All the people are different. You got Darth Jar Jar. You got a bunch of cool stuff. And it's just such a fun, cool, special, and like just cinematic. It's so much fun. I really hope people watch it, because I think you'll honestly die laughing. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll love it even more, because we are giving you exactly what maybe not what you want, but you're gonna laugh. We're laughing along with you.
The fact that Jedi Bob is in there, you kind of know that it's kind of a love letter to the fans in a way.
100% a love letter to the fans.
A lot of Lego jokes from what I heard. And then it's like adult humor that kids will enjoy because it's animated and it's Star Wars, but the humor is for the adults, which I think is super important.
The humor's for the adults. The love and care for it all is for the kids, because they love the Lego stuff. And, beyond that, it's just a good time that you can watch with the whole family. And I'm looking forward for people to watch it. To be honest, I'm looking forward to watching it myself.
What did you find to be the biggest change? Because you spoke about it a little bit before, going from
Yes.
acting on screen with props, with everything, to now being in a studio, no camera, now having to act and just act out every scene.
You know, there's a difference between acting theater, acting camera. Camera, you can be more subtle because the camera's right in your face.
Yeah.
You can do that. Then you're acting in theater, you kind of want to act for the back of the room. You project. You're a little bit more animated because they can't really see the subtlety in your performance from 40 feet away.
Yeah.
And then, weirdly enough, someone who gave me no advice, but I just kind of like related to it after the fact and after doing a bunch of voiceover, which I absolutely love doing and I want to do more of, to be honest, was Tom Holland.
Really?
Because he was always in the mask. And whenever he was in the mask, he had to animate his voice more so people could understand inflections, people can understand this. So you kind of go a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
Because you're not really able to fully sell your facial features. So if you're sad, you're a little bit more kind of sad than anyone else, or would be, just because, well, you know, you're sad. If you're, you know, excited, you're definitely a little bit more excited than anything else, because
That's interesting.
no matter
to think
what,
about.
a drawn figure is going to be a little bit staccato than a face.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, that's kind of the difference, is like, you're not acting for the back of the room, but you're a little bit more, pun intended, animated.
Yeah.
You're a little bit more...
You have to give life to something that's not alive.
Yes, exactly.
Is it something that, like, when you're auditioning for something like that, is it self-tapes or do they have you coming in and reading?
It's mostly self-tapes,
Okay.
you know, and I'm very new to this voiceover world. I've been gracious enough to, like, you know, do well. I was able to do my dream project of all time, which was Hayao Miyazaki, and getting to do a voice in Boy and the Heron was
Very cool.
one of the greatest achievements of my life. And honestly, he was a director I've always wanted to work with beyond anything and everything. And so getting to do that was awesome. But yeah, you know, it's mostly, you know, you kind of get an audition, you do a self-tape for it, hopefully you have a good mic and a nice setup, and then you go for it. You know, you kind of just give your version of whatever it could be and send it in, and if they like it, great, and if not, you know, whatever. And maybe sometimes you go in for a callback, and maybe you are in the room then and they ask you to play with your voice, they ask you to kind of do whatever, and you go from there.
Was the animation done at the time that you were recording?
No.
Does that make it harder? Because you can't really see what the character's doing, or are they animating it to what you're saying?
So they're always scratch vocals, I think is what it's called.
Got it.
Where you kind of, you give the performance so they can edit the performance with everyone
Got
else's,
it.
send that to the animators, and now the animators are animating based on the lip movements of what they have been sent. And then there's always changes that happen afterwards, and then you come in, you do ADR, additional dialogue recording, in which you know, now you have an animation. They're like, we need you to do an effort here because he's going to get, you know, so it's like, ugh, you know, you add those little things, or we need a line change to make it more clear for the story, so that needs to change here, or whatever it might be.
If you could be any Star Wars character in the actual non-animated universe,
Ooh.
who would you want to be?
I think his name is Darth Bane.
Really? Okay.
I
know which character you're I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. People know this, but
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
but he's a great, interesting character. Just because I think he if I'm saying this the right character, and I am a fan, but you know, Monday morning. I'm doing my best.
You're crushing it. That's probably the best this season.
Oh, well, thank you very much. But I'm a big fan of someone who plays with light and dark, and it's super interesting to me. So I think he's a extremely interesting character. And honestly, it would just be really fun to get to like push on that side of Star Wars that maybe people aren't used to or know about outside of the fans who are true, huge fans of these shows, or the extended universe or whatever it might be. But he would be a great character. I think also just any good character. I would love to play like a morally corrupt Jedi.
That's funny.
Like, I would love to play someone who...
Those are the best characters, like Thanos, where like some people agree with them.
Right? Or like for me, I would just want to be a character who is just like, really? This guy? Okay, I guess we're following this guy. It's like he steals from people with the Force, just like he's like a thrifter.
That's kind of fun.
That would be a really fun character, I think, to play for myself.
Being a creative outside of, like, behind the camera, is there any, obviously we're in a world of IP reboots, is there anything you'd be interested in taking on as a writer or a director, like a film that you're just like, I love this version, but I would love to do my take on it?
Interesting. One that I would say, but not anymore, is the Percy Jackson series.
Really?
Because I absolutely love those books, but they absolutely nailed it recently with their newest iteration
Disney series,
on
right?
Disney Plus. Yeah, correct. And I think it's great. I had the best time watching it. And maybe there's a version of it when that I could join in some capacity. Who knows? But that would have been one.
That's another underrated series. I think everybody just got into the Harry Potter, and like Percy Jackson kind of
Percy Jackson just got left. But also, I would love to do a Harry Potter like reboot and just do my own version of it and just do something crazy and wild with it. But then also, there's so many great novels that I think haven't been made from outside of America. Latin novels, Japanese novels, or manga that I think would be wonderful to adapt, and some manga maybe not. Don't touch a classic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's certain that I think, that I would love to. Like, oh God, I'm trying to think of something.
I mean, it's interesting to me that it seems like the studios are the ones that are dictating what they're rebooting or turning into films. And it's like, if you talk to the creators who actually like the product, you're not going to run into some of the issues of like, this wasn't like the book, this wasn't good, that wasn't good.
Well, I think the biggest boon for that, and the biggest kind of showing of that, is Matt Owens, who was the showrunner of the One Piece show live action on Netflix. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm a big fan of the source material, and I thought he did an incredible job of honoring the source material, doing what is needed, because let's be completely honest here, some of the stuff in the source material would cost you hundreds of millions of dollars to do if you faithfully adapt it, and you gotta kind of put your spin on it and make sure whatever it might be is done. But again,
but it also seems like One Piece is something that is a guaranteed win.
Yeah,
everyone's going to watch it. They're going to have their judgments on whether.
Of course.
But
he is a big fan
of
the source material. And I got to meet him, and he's a lovely human being, and grateful enough to call him a friend. And they're shooting season 2 now, which is lovely. And shout out to you, Matt. I love you. But I am so grateful that they gave him the trust to do it, and he knows that's not going to go over with the fans, because I would hate it. And that's what it is. Like, just give the people who are fans of these things the opportunity to make their version of it with their own kind of spin on it, right?
Yeah, and that it surprises me that the new networks and streamers don't, for guaranteed wins. I can kind of understand it with new IP or things that aren't really guaranteed to me, but One Piece is so big that it's like anybody who touches it will get it watched, but the people who know the source material and actually love the project are the ones that are going to get it watched and praised, and I think that's where there's like a big disconnect of the creative.
Right, exactly. So you kind of want to do it justice. You want to do it you want to do it right for the fans, because you know you yourself as a fan want it seen done right. And certainly, you know, I think he did an incredible job. You know, people are going to have their criticisms of it, and that's okay. You know, that's not the point. The point is he came at it with love and attention, and that's all we want as fans, right?
Yeah.
And
just don't disrespect the thing we love. That's
exactly.
It. That
it's
is
like,
it.
And you know, certain things have to change for life or monetary things.
Yep.
Because let's be honest, we can't make $1 billion show. But I thought he's done a wonderful job, and you know, the key of how he's done a wonderful job is the creator himself absolutely loving what he's done, and that makes you feel great. I'm sure maybe him feel great about what he's done and how he's done it, and gives him the confidence to keep doing it because the fans have his back now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. It's like once you prove yourself to the fans, they're with you. They're going to be with you for every project. They're going to be with you for. They're not going to question anything you're doing when it comes to IP.
Exactly. And I would love to see what he does next outside of One Piece.
Yeah, it's only uphill from that. I feel like once you get that one big thing and you prove yourself, you become that name that they just start signing these deals with.
Here's open.
Here's 900 films that we're going to attach.
Exactly. It's like now you're doing 400 projects. But he deserves it if anyone does. But yeah, you know, that would be. I'm a fan of things, man. Like I would love to do things as a fan, and you know, even if I don't, I can watch something and enjoy it. And be like, you know what? I had the best time watching the show, and that makes me happy as a fan. Like I don't need more than that.
I imagine if an actor goes out for a role and they don't get it, and then they watch it, they are going to find things they're critical of. But then every now and then you have to like kind of sit back and be like, they nailed it. There's nothing I could have done better for that.
But also, like, you know, take the ego out of it. You're a fan of this product, right? Like I auditioned for Detective Pikachu, and I'm a huge Pokemon fan. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be dope. I want to get this so badly. Didn't end up getting it. Ended up going to Justice Smith, who was absolutely stellar in the fucking in the project.
Have you done anything crazy for a role? Like you hear these Hollywood stories about things people did for their roles. Jared Leto's sending dead animals to people.
Oh God, no.
Okay,
let's just say not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
You know, I'd like to think of myself as somewhat just a normal guy who's gonna do and commit really, really heavy. But beyond that, not too much more. I did do a movie in India, America, in which I spoke Hindi. I'm not Indian, so maybe sign of the times, but the director cast me not realizing that I wasn't. And, you know, kind of nothing I could really do about it. And I spoke, you know, Indian, and I think that was like one of the crazy things that I did, because I just.
Do you get that a lot, where people just cast you? They just assume something based on your look.
Based on my look, yeah, and you know, hey, that's what actors do.
Yep. That's why I don't really love the attack on like, no, you're not this, or you can't play this, or it's no, they're acting. That's That's the
Yeah.
whole, that's the whole deal. That's
the whole
literally their
point.
job.
The whole point, right? Like, I'm not out here going to play Martin Luther King Jr. We can
You can
say
do
that.
anything you put your mind to.
Maybe, but I'd be happy to let that one go.
Probably the best.
Probably for
idea.
the best.
Yeah.
But again, I think like let actors act.
Yeah.
We're here to do what we want to do and grow and oh my God.
Just make good stuff. Like
Just
you guys
make
are not
fun
out
stuff.
there just trying to make stuff. You're trying to make good stuff that people are going to enjoy.
We're just trying to make art,
Yeah.
All
right, last question. We're winding down. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Ooh. The fact that I don't have superpowers. Is that a cop-out answer? It is, but I don't care.
I mean, it depends.
Oh God. Well, if I had to change one thing about myself, what would I change? Am I doing this wrong? Jesus.
There is no wrong in Lego. You can rebuild the galaxy.
We can rebuild the galaxy. Just go in. Let me think. In the words of Skilo, I wish I was a little bit taller.
Really? Is that the one?
That's the one, I guess.
Okay.
Just because I like the idea of like reaching high stuff.
That's a good answer with a unique reason.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Also, my little brother just became taller than me, so I'm like,
Oh man.
you dick.
All right, let's see where you're at. You crushed it. What was that? 2 bags or 3 bags? That you crushed it.
2
bags.
But I can't get this piece. I have no idea how it goes. Oh, it's on the underside. This is why.
You missed the tourney arrows.
Well, I did what I could. I think I saw a putty cat, and not too bad.
Yeah, I think I just got his head done. Let me see.
Lovely.
I guess this is it. For the most part, I'm mostly there. I'm mostly there, but we'll finish it later, and you'll take that home, and I'm sure you'll finish it.
Yeah, well now I will
after your Dark Falcon.
Well, now I got to finish it after the Falcon. Yeah, exactly.
You have a list of Falcons that you have to get through.
I got 2 Falcons to deal with now.
Tony, where can the people find you?
People can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, just my name, @Tony Revolori. I think I might have a Twitter or X, whatever it's called. But yeah, Instagram's where to find me. I post every 3 years.
Oh, good.
And yeah, if you want to see new projects, I have Lego Star Wars out now. I have also this really cool animated show, rated R, called Ghost of Ruin, out on filmgala.com.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is really fun and cool and interesting, alongside Justin Long and a bunch of other cool people like Natalie Emmanuel and Rosario Dawson. Yeah, I'm just here. Have fun.
Crushing it.
See me at a convention. I walk around all the time.
Yeah, we have LA Comic Con coming up.
Yeah,
in
you do have
October.
LA Comic. Anaheim Con was really cool. Or not
Really?
Anaheim Con, sorry. Anime Con. I said Anaheim. Anime Con was really cool, really fun.
That's cool. I got to check that out. I've been here 3 years. I haven't done San Diego, and I got to do Anaheim.
Oh, those are both really cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for checking us out. You can follow me at Cyanide Sosis on Instagram and Building Friendship series. And also, Jody Sweeten and I have our full house set up for vote at Lego Ideas. So check it out, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.